All right, brother, let's jump into it.
Yeah, man.
Mitchell Trubisky on Tuesday.
Love it.
Name the starter.
Love this kid. Absolutely should be the starter. 3 reasons. 1, he's tough. Mm-hmm. He played with trash in Chicago. There was nothing around him in Chicago. So, 1, the kid knows how to run for his life, and he can, which is going to bode us well because the Steelers look great except for that offensive line. Their nickname should be Swiss cheese. There are holes everywhere, and they're tragic. However, I think there's time for them to glue, and I think Trubisky can give them that time. 2, after playing a tough time in Chicago, he went up to Buffalo. I think he probably got some of that winning culture on him, the way they do things up there. Plus, with a name like Trubisky walking into Pittsburgh, I mean, come on. He's a suit made for him. He's a suit made in heaven. I think he's going to be fine, and that'll give, that'll give Pickett time to settle into what the future will be.
I thought it was interesting that Tomlin upgraded him over the weekend from 3 to 2. Because I thought, okay, makes sense to put Trubisky 1 and Mason Rudolph 2 when you're going to Cincinnati to start the season. Like,
right.
what if Trubisky gets jarred for a moment? You might as well have an old hand who's seen this and been there and done that. And then week 2 is Belichick coming in.
Well, of course. But I think the thought behind that is, hey, maybe we keep the new car third. Yes. And then we put the car that we're using right now out front, and then we got the jalopy if we have to throw Mason into the war.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's seen some action. So I think they want to protect Pickett, and I think Trubisky's going to be fine. I really have a lot of faith in this kid.
What's your definition of fine?
I say 10 wins. I think Steelers pull 10 wins and possibly a playoff slot.
That's the issue is 10 wins. I don't know if 10's going to get you home.
These days, right? Yeah.
Well, the AFC West might beat each other up, or you're going to get 3 teams that have 11 dubs,
right.
and then, that's a problem. And then you think maybe somebody else can have another 11-win season. Maybe the Ravens are just as good.
I think the Ravens have fallen off a little bit. And, Cleveland takes care of itself. We don't even have to play them. They're just...
That is,
so bad.
In case anybody wants to, maybe just like the sound of your voice doesn't somehow convince that you're a real big-time diehard Steeler fan, I do want to say this, and you had made mention to it when I went and I saw you in our green room, that you were the only guest in the history of this program to say I can't make my appearance today because I lost my voice at the Browns game, screaming at them.
I called you the day before too. I thought I'm on the outs, man. I thought it was blacklisted.
Actually, no.
I thought it was blacklisted.
You actually went up in my book. You went up in my book. I am more than happy to fill that segment last minute because I heard it in your voice.
It was bad.
I heard the passion. Bad. I heard the scratchiness, the throatiness.
Yeah. I sounded like Tom Waits when I called it.
Rich, I don't think I'm going to be able to make the show. I can't breathe.
It was worse. I'm like, oh God, are you okay? Are you sick?
But
You're
I felt bad.
This
is one of my favorite stops, so I felt bad. I couldn't come. I thought it was going to be. I thought McConaughey would have my seat again.
Dude, I'm telling you, you're just a diehard. You only know 100. One speed when it comes to this
100. I can't go. Well, I can't go to the games and not be involved. Like I lose my mind. I lose my mind at home. So when you're at the game, that intensity, that'd be like you going to the big house.
Yeah,
you're not holding back. You can't.
No,
It's infectious. It's in your blood. You just want to be. You want to be with the crowd and those moments, and And then there's nothing better than screaming obscenities at the opposing team.
Certainly, if they're the Cleveland Browns.
Not above that.
Is that number one?
Especially.
That's number
Cleveland,
one.
I'm old. So I'm from the original timeline, so Cleveland's who I hate the most. Mm-hmm. Baltimore's like a half a game back. I give them about a half a game back. Yeah.
And the Browns have,
the Browns are the Browns. If there's a bad decision to be made, you can count on that front office, can't you? Huh? What's the worst possible thing we can do here, fellas? Hey, guys, we were in the playoffs. We're going to have to break that up. Just count on. They take care of themselves. You don't have to worry about them. That's the sweet thing about it. Yeah. Although I like the city of Cleveland. I do. I actually enjoyed playing there, and we had a lot of fun with the crowd back and forth. I would purposely tell Nick, who runs just a great comedy club in Cleveland, and he said I would make them say from Pittsburgh, Billy Gardell, just to get the crowd booing before I walked out on stage. Not the brightest guy, but still fun.
So of course,
yeah, it was a good interchange.
You could see it whenever there's a Steeler that goes into the Hall of Fame. you know, and they take
show
over
up.
Ohio.
We show
There's
up.
a lot of eye rolls. There's a lot of eye rolls.
Well, it gives me great pleasure that there's a wing of Steelers in Ohio, and you know the Browns have like 3 or 4 in there. And that's how it should be.
The Steelers wing in the bus
We
room.
have a wing. Yeah,
Right.
it's pretty amazing.
I know
Pretty amazing.
when Polamalu went in after the pandemic,
Right.
and he showed up. He had COVID actually, and it looked like he might not be there to make the speech, but then he did. The terrible towels in the stands are just
We
insane.
travel well, and I think it's because when our city shut down from industry, when all the steel mills closed, it became a college town. They very smartly said, okay, well, we got colleges, let's be a college town. And then since then, they've built a medical community and a film industry, and they have a very green footprint in Pittsburgh now. But they're great at evolving. But I think people got their education there and then moved out because there wasn't a lot of jobs. So you got these Steeler fans sprinkled. Every away game I go to the Steelers, we take up about a quarter of the stadium. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Like Cincinnati has ads on usually, and I bet they're doing it this week. Please don't sell your tickets to a Steeler fan. Please don't, because they know we're going to show up. You know, and I love that. I love that we're mobile.